said, wherever this journey takes you, just trust me, already there. I had no way of knowing then just how hard the rain would fall, how fierce would be the wind. It's been beautiful and terrible, or painful, or wonderful than I ever could have known. Even so, still I'm gonna sing about the one who's giving back to me. His love is not changing, His grace is amazing. Still I'm gonna praise the only one who always stays the same. I know He's good, I know He's faithful. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a mess. I've still got a heart with doubts and fears pounding in my chest. And I've wrestled, then I've rested, then I've trusted, then I've tested God's patience like a foolish man. When I surrender once again, and I come like a little child, reach around my hand, He lifts me every time, and He tells me you love me still. I'm gonna sing about the one who's given out to me. His love is unchanging, His grace is amazing. Still, I'm gonna praise the only one who always stays the same. I know He is good, I know He's faithful. Yeah. I will sing of His faithfulness, and all my days I will sing of His faithfulness. Still, I'm gonna sing about one who's given out to me. His love is unchanging, His grace is amazing. Still, I'm gonna praise the only one who always stays the same. I know He's good, I know He's faithful. I'm gonna praise Him still. I'm gonna trust Him still. He is faithful, He is faithful. Still. It is so good to be in Charlotte tonight, to see all of you. I still love singing my songs for you, and I am blown away by the fact that you are still coming to hear me sing them. Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. You know, this it's kind of a short tour, so of the 23, 24 stops. I was like, we gotta go to Charlotte. Come on, we gotta go see my peeps. But still, you know, this word is the title of the tour, the title of my latest recording, and it's a word I've thought a lot about these last few years, and probably the reason why it was the title and just the thread that kind of was running through so many of these thoughts of mine. It's just a powerful word. It's kind of a word I haven't even thought about that much, maybe until recently. But when you think of what it implies, you know, you can say I believe, but when you say I still believe, you know, it means you've been through some things. It means you've been somewhere, right? You say, you know, we're friends, or you know, we're still friends. You know, like we are. That means we've been through some things, and we've been on the journey for a while. You know, so I am excited that we get to still gather, and so many of these songs are going to bring back some memories, I think, for some of us tonight. And I still love singing them and writing new ones too, and which I'm so excited to get to share some of those with you tonight. You know, music is an amazing thing. It's like a time machine, and I love doing these concerts over the years because I can see the memories, you know, almost in your eyes. Remembering with me, songs just have that amazing power to transport us. So we're going to kind of jump in the musical time machine a few times tonight, if that's okay, because we have been doing this for a while, some of us anyway. So we're going to start off, we're going to go back just right out of the gate here to 1987. Some of y'all will remember 1987, and some of you won't because you weren't born yet, and that's okay too. We love you. And I'm just blown away that you're here. If you weren't born in 1987, but I was. In 1987, let's go back there. So here are a few things you might remember. Ronald Reagan was the president in 1987. Yes, I know. Different times, for sure. Not getting into that. Nope. And, okay, gas was 89 cents at the gas pump, y'all. Wow. Okay. The first time Maverick appeared on the big screen, the first Top Gun, 1987. That's when it came on the scene. So that'll take some of you back, right? And 1987 is the year. The reason that's kind of a significant year for me is that's the year that this boy from Paducah, Kentucky, with his bride at his side, had made his way to Nashville, Tennessee, to get to, well, he had it had a heart full of songs and a head full of hair, as I like to say, because I didn't have a moment. But let's just go ahead and get that out of the way. We're going to go ahead just now. It's confession time. It's good for the soul. Just get it out. Go ahead. Laugh it up. Laugh it. All right. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, I'm going to go find pictures of you. Some of y'all, I know. So, but I had the opportunity in 1987 to make my first record. So that was a big deal. It was a dream of mine come true to make my first record, 1987. And when I say record, some of y'all know what I mean. I'm talking record, right? Vinyl, disc. That's how we listen to music. That wasn't a cool retro, vintage kind of, hip thing to do. That was like, if you want to listen to music, you listen to a record, or maybe a cassette tape if you prefer the hi-fi this or that, right? You know what I mean? And my very first single, y'all, this is kind of funny because nowadays if you want to stream the latest single, you get your phone or whatever. But back in that day, if you wanted to stream the latest single, you had to drop the needle onto a 45 RPM, and you would hear that sound, right? And you knew something was getting ready to happen. Well, I handed a 45 RPM single to radio disc jockeys my first GMA week in Nashville, 1987, and said, would y'all please consider playing a song of mine on the radio? And you might remember it. The song went like this. I gotta keep my eyes on Jesus through the weekday. In a world where I really don't belong, I've discovered if I keep my eyes on Jesus through the weekdays, then on my weekdays He'll make me strong. Everybody remember that one? So it began. But you know what? There was one thread running through all those songs back then, and it's continued to be a thread that has run through every song I have written and recorded, and every song that has connected our lives together. And that one thread, that one truth, is just simply that God is with us, and He is for us, He is good, and He is faithful and true. And as I look back on this road I've traveled, I see so many times He's carried me through. And if there's one thing that I've learned in my life, my Redeemer is faithful and true. My Redeemer is faithful, He has said He will do. And every morning His mercies are new. He has proved his love for me. When I lack the understanding, he gives more grace to me. My Redeemer is faithful and true, and everything he said he will do. And every morning his mercies are new. My Redeemer's faithful and true. Jesus is faithful and true. Great is thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness. Morning by morning, in mercies I see, and all I have needed thy hand hath provided. Great Amen. Well, so we're going to celebrate that truth tonight, God's faithfulness, God's goodness, with a whole lot of songs and a lot of music. Some of you are going to know some of these words, so I expect you to sing along with me. If you know the words, and even if you don't, you just kind of can make something up. That's okay. I have to do that sometimes. All right, but we're going to keep it easy here out of the gate. Give you words that everybody knows. And I think you might remember this one, some of y'all. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, let's sing this one. This is your part. She goes feel like diving in. Sink or swim, I'm diving in. One, two, I think you know the words. Same words. Let's sing it. Here we go. For me out, me. Trying to wake up, sitting on a hot coat. Let it get me breathe. And I'm praying like a man on my knee. Saying God, please take all of me. And give me a good love. Here we go. Take these songs and I'll play. Take these words and I'll speak. Take me over. Fill up all of my space. Stand by to remind me. Yeah, this prayer that I pray. Take me over. Take me over. Ready? Here we go. This is what I'm sure of. I can really show love when I really know how love I am. When they know what's first, then it animates me. Going from my heart into my hand. So I'm praying Father, help me, right now, singing over me. And baby, the way you love. Come on, take these thoughts and I'll play. Take these words and I'll speak. Take me over. With love all of my space. Stand right here in my room. And this prayer that I pray. Take me over. Take me over. Take me over. Thank you so much. Words fall like drops of rain. My lips are like clouds. I say so many things, just trying to figure you out. As mercy opens my eyes, my words are stolen away. This breathtaking view of your grace, and I am speechless. I'm astonished and amazed. You have saved me, you've raised me from the grave. In your presence now, and astounded as I consider how you have shown the love that leaves out. celebrate for finding this one who was lost. To know you rejoice over us, the God of this whole universe. It's a story too great for words. I'm speechless, I'm astonished and amazed. I'm silent by your wondrous grace. You have saved me, you have raised me from the grave. I'm speechless in your presence now, and astounded I consider how you have shown us a love that leads us speechless. We are speechless. Oh, how great is the love that the Father has lavished upon us, that we should be called the sons and the daughters of God. We are speechless. We're astonished and amazed, and we're silenced by your wondrous grace. You have saved us, you raised us from the grave. We are speechless in your presence now, and astounded as we consider how you have shown us love that leads us. Lord, you've shown us a love that leads us. Astonished and amazed at the wonder of your grace. Oh Lord, we are speechless. Oh Lord, we are speechless. Yes, we are. How we doing, everybody? Good so far? All right, we're gonna play one here that you may know, some of you. On the bank of the Tennessee River, in a small Kentucky town, I drew my first one cold November morning, and before my feet even touched the ground, with the doctors and nurses gathered around, I started to dance. I started to dance. Little boy from the wild-eyed wonder, footloose and fancy free. It would happen as it did we go I don't know. Maybe the devil's trying to pull the plug on us tonight. We're not letting that stop us. We're just going to keep going. I don't know. If I need to do anything different, duck or whatever, somebody just tell me, because I don't know. I'm just going to keep going until I hear otherwise. If that's all right with y'all. I don't know. But let's see here. Travelers, pilgrims longing for a home, from one who walks with you on this journey called life's road. It is a long and winding road, one who's seen you, dreamt of staying on the mountainside, one who's cried like you, wanting so much just to lay down. And I offer this. We must remember this. We are not home yet. We are not home yet. Keep on looking ahead, and your heart not home yet. We are not home yet. We are not home yet. Keep on looking ahead, and your heart not home yet. We are not. Let us journey on. We are not home yet. Lord, you know how much I wanna know so much, in the way of answers and explanations. I've cried and prayed, still I seem to stay in the middle of life complications. All this pursuit leaves me feeling like I'm chasing down the wind. Now it's brought me back to you. I can see again. This is everything I want. This is everything I need. Want this to be my one consuming passion. Everything my heart desires, Lord, I want it all from you. Jesus, be my magnificent obsession. My magnificent obsession. In my ear to see if I can hear everything. You guys still hearing okay? Everybody good? All right, good. Yeah, I think I need to, hang on, I need like a shoe on or something. Get this thing. A crowbar. Okay. I didn't see that. that I stood and applauded them. So they knew from the start, this road will not lead to fame. All they really knew for sure was Jesus had called them. He said, come follow me, and they came with a reckless abandon thinking. Empty nets lying there at the water's edge told a story that you could believe and none could explain. How some crazy fishermen agreed to go where Jesus led, with no thought for what they would gain. For Jesus had called my name, and they answered, we will abandon it all for the sake of the call. No other reason at all but the sake of the call. Wholly devoted to live and to die, and not for the sake of a creed or a cause, not for a dream or a promise, but simply because it is Jesus who calls. And if we believe, we'll obey and we'll answer. If you know it, sing it with me. Sing, we will abandon it all for the sake of the call. No other reason at all but the sake of the call. Wholly devoted to live and to die for the sake of the call. For the sake of the call. For the sake of the call. Thank you so much. Well, in all the craziness a moment ago, I just realized something. I forgot to, after Lord of the Dance and all the smoke flying off the guitars and keys up here, I usually introduce these musicians and these wonderful fellows up here on the stage. And there it goes. There it is. Wow. Well, all I can be sure of is there are some people drastically trying to work it out and figure out what is going on right now, because I'm sure as much as my brain is going, what's happening, what's happening, what's happening? There are lots of other people doing that as well. So we're hopefully going to figure that out. If not, we'll just keep going. If I have to sit on the edge of the stage and sing as loud as I can, we'll just do that. But I want you guys to have like the best, and so it's, we're just gonna push it away. Okay, we're gonna push it away. But can I introduce these guys, because I kind of missed them a minute ago. So you need to know who this amazing musician is. Mr. Curtis James on the guitar, for everybody. And y'all gotta be especially loud and nice and all of the things that you would normally be, but just ramp it up even a little more because Kobe's mom and dad are here tonight. So y'all just, on the keyboards, and also his mom and dad are here tonight in the audience. So Mr. Joseph O'Brien. I feel bad now because his mom and dad are not in the audience. But everybody, Peter Waller's on the bass guitar. They wanted to be here, really. Okay. All right, y'all, we're going to jump back in the time machine here real quick, and we're going to go back to the year 1992 now. So we're moving up a little bit. So I want to take y'all back. So I just finished my For the Sake of the Call tour. So the song I just sang, some of you all remember that album and that tour. That was my first band tour. The first time I got to have a tour bus and a whole band on stage, and it was very exciting times. My brother Herbie was with me. Some of you all heard me talk and sing about Herbie over the years. My wife, Mary Beth, in the picture there, and we were a motley crew, but that was our first official band tour, and things were taking off. Some of you all maybe started, hearing my music and were listening. And side note here, in case you're taking notes, there will be a quiz at the end of the night. So gasoline now had climbed to a staggering $1.15 a gallon, so that was happening. And let's see, that was the year that my grandmother's prayers were finally answered. As I recall, 1992, I decided to get the mullet cut off. So that was a big day for my grandmother. She was very excited. And so this Paducah boy and his Ohio bride were now trying to figure out, what do we do with all of this amazing success and these opportunities that have come our way when I never expected it when we started? I promise you, we started with this very humble dream that maybe I could use the gifts God had given me, write the songs and sing the songs to encourage you, my friends, along the way in your journey, as music had done that for me. That was the hope and the prayer and the dream. And maybe I could feed my family in the process. That would be kind of a nice benefit to the whole process. And our family by 92 had grown to now a family of 5. So we started with Emily. Some of you all know this. You remember Emily. And then Caleb came along. And then when Caleb was like 8 months old and Emily was about 4 years old, we had this surprise. And when I say surprise, some of you have heard the story of it real quickly. So Caleb was 8 months old. So my wife was feeling a little weird, but she's like, there's just no way that it's what I think it could possibly be, because I have an 8-month-old baby, so that's not possible, right? And so unbeknownst to me, she had put a little test that she bought at a drugstore in her purse to some point maybe test and see, could it be? So she decided to do that in the bathroom at Chuck E. Cheese at a birthday party. True story. And so she walks out, tears streaming down her face. I'm standing here just, loading my plate up with pizza and salad and whatever, and she proceeds to tell me that we're going to have another baby while I'm like rocking with my foot, Caleb's little rocking chair, And so I start sobbing uncontrollably with her. They were happy tears for the most part, but terrified tears too. And anyway, we've been banned from Chuck E. Cheese. Apparently, it's not a place you're supposed to cry uncontrollably in as an adult. So, but that's how our family suddenly, became this family of 5. And I'd won my first Grammy Award by now. I'd had like 11 songs go to the top of the charts, and I'd won a bunch of Dove Awards. So it was super exciting in terms of, all of the career things and all the things that you would ever hope would happen as a musician. But we were overwhelmed because of all that was happening. It's like it was the best of times and the worst of times, as the story says. And it was also in 1992 that, with a lot of prayer, conversations, counseling, that Mary Beth has shared very bravely and openly and vulnerably about this in her book, and different times that she has spoken and shared her story. But it was during this time in that year that it was discovered that she was battling with clinical depression, and part of what was just all the stuff going on and the weight that was weighing in on her and on us. And it's probably something she had carried her whole life, but it came screaming to the surface in this very frightening way. And it was breaking my heart as a husband to see my wife suffer, not know how to fix this, and not know what to do. And so, as crazy as it sounds, at that time, I was really feeling like a failure. I just felt like, as a dad, as a husband, am I even doing this right? Things are happening and going well, but am I doing enough? And expectations are growing, all these things. So it was just that sense of, the toll that this is taking even on my family, my wife, is it right? Is this the right thing? Am I even doing the right thing, God? And I did. I feel like a failure. And I walked in to a meeting with a couple of my pastors, my manager, my record company people. It was kind of a meeting to give them the new ideas, the new songs. Here's the exciting new thing that's going to do even better, and all the expectations of that. And I'll never forget, I walked in and I just started the meeting off, and the guys could tell something was up. And I said, guys, I melted down. I just started to cry, and I said, I feel like, as great as all this is, I just feel like I'm failing on so many levels. And I don't know. I don't know if this is the right thing, if I'm supposed to keep doing this. And I just kind of spilled it all there. But it was all around this word disappointment and failure. And I'll never forget my pastor and dear friend for so many years, written books with him, and his sermons have inspired so many of the songs that you've heard me sing over the years, Scotty Smith. I remember him looking at me and saying, Stephen, you know all this because we've said it and we've talked about it many times, but you're using that word failure, disappointment. And can I just remind you, if what you sing about and what we believe about who Jesus is, what he did at the cross, that he took on himself all of that failure, all of that not enoughness that you feel in your life right now, he took all that on himself and went to the cross. When he came out of the grave, he came with more than enough. His grace is sufficient. He came with a love that nothing can change for you. Nothing you're going to do to make him love you anymore. Not one more song. You're not going to figure something out. Even as you walk through this with your family and all of this. Now, yeah, we need to be smart and wise and figure out what God's saying in all of this about how you do the music and all of that. But as far as the failure and disappointment, let's just get that straight. Jesus took that on himself. And he has given you in exchange his love and his grace. And I knew it up here, but it was one of those moments that it made its way to my heart. And it was literally like the walls began to kind of crumble around me that were closing in. And it was like Eugene Peterson says it in the Message. I love the way he puts it. He says, we find ourselves standing out in the wide open spaces of the grace of God, the love of God. And so that's what I felt when I walked out of that meeting. If I wasn't crying when I came in, I was crying on the way out for sure, but they were tears of joy, tears of surrender, tears of freedom. And of course, because I'm me, I'm going to walk out of there and write a song about it, which I did, and it went like this. Started out this morning in the usual way, chasing thoughts inside my head of all I had to do today. Another time around the circle, try to make it better than the last. I opened up the Bible and I read about you and me. Said we'd all been prisoners, God's grace had set us all. Then somewhere between the painted, it hit me like a lightning bolt. I saw a big frontier in front of me, and I heard somebody say, come on, let's go to the people, saddle on your horses, we got to go. Amazing grace, that's my life. This is a great journey that the human heart will ever see. The love of God, it will take us far beyond our wildest dreams. Tell of yourself, we got children. Oh, while we're younger, amazing grace. Let's follow our leader to the rest. Oh, we have some blessings in our life. This is a great event. Yeah, yeah. This is a great event. Oh, that's right. You guys are awesome. Well, sorry. Just getting too excited. My guitar can't handle it. I gotta be in tune for this next one. 'Cause we're getting tender now. Okay, this is a song that I have not probably ever played on tour before, but just a little bit of this. I'm going somewhere with it, so y'all just go with me here, okay? 11/6/64, the sun shined a whole lot brighter than ever it had before, smiling down on me at 1:09 p.m. Both hands of time start turning, and you came waltzing in to change my world for good. She was wearing a faded denim skirt and a matching faded denim jacket. The first time I laid eyes on her, she had big brown eyes and big brown hair. Because it was 1983 and the hair was big back in those years, right, ladies? And the mullets were flowing. Yes. I was lost in the flow, you could say. But it was her eyes that I remember. There was a brightness, there was a light in her eyes. Probably a little mischief as well, maybe, but it was the light in her eyes that drew me in like a moth to a flame. And I'm just gonna say the flame was kind of hot, if you know what I'm saying, but I ain't gonna say that out loud because it's a family show, right? So, well, it would turn out that this beautiful brown-eyed young lady and I not only shared a deep love and appreciation for cheese biscuits and popcorn shrimp at Red Lobster, which we would discover that on our first date, but we would also discover that we shared the same last name, and we ended up actually sharing a mailbox. And that's kind of how we met at Anderson College in Indiana. A lot of you know that story. And so on October 13th of 1984, I married that beautiful brown-eyed girl. She became Mary Beth Chapman. And it was quite a humorous wedding announcement. I found it the other day. I was going through some pictures actually, and it was pretty funny because it says Chapman, and everybody in the wedding party pretty much was named Chapman. And because her family and my brother sang and her brother sang and everybody. So it was definitely a Kentucky wedding, no question. Feeling like that for sure. Sorry. Okay. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it's true. No, it was kind of funny, but anyway, she has been with me every step of this journey, as you know, and she was my first booking agent. Truthfully, she was my first sound woman who would sit at the back and start the cassette tape tracks when I was singing to tapes back in those days. My wife, for some reason, she thinks sometimes I talk too much on stage, and I don't know where she ever got that, but when she was starting my tapes, this is a true story, when she thought I had said enough, even if I was only halfway through my little talk, my little sermon, she just hit play. I'm not lying. I'd be up here standing right in the middle of my second point of my 3-point sermon, and I'd hear, psst, here comes the music, so I guess I'm going to sing now. I get done, she said, well, what are you going to do, fire me? You can't really fire me. True stories. My first merch girl, she'd set up the merch table in the back when I had one album. There it is, one cassette. That was Mary Beth's first merch table. That was the handmade signs that she wrote herself. And so that's kind of where it all started. She has been my biggest cheerleader, my biggest fan, my toughest critic. And she is still, by God's grace, the girl of my dreams, the love of my life. And it's been our adventure together that has really been where so many of these songs have come from, the inspiration.